Hello, and that was my Week 5 match in the Kraken Cup against Slacker and the Pennsylvania Pawnyards. So before we get started, we need to make some roster adjustments as the trade deadline was this past week. So first off, I'd like to thank Mr. Mime Gallerform for his time on the team. Picked up a clutch kill against a Mudsdale and valiantly sacrificed himself to a Life Orb Doug Trio, which just gotta hurt. Mr. Mime gave me some spin help, access to freeze dry psychic, very vital stabs. So I'd like to thank him for his time on the team. And we'll be replacing Mr. Mime Galler with Blossom. Blossom's a good grass type. I've noticed in the past I struggle with Earthquake switch-ins, and this is going to help me with solid bulk, excellent move pool, access to Quiver Dance, and Swords Dance for some reason. So this thing's got some pretty cool boosting moves. And obviously diverse move pool goes along with it. This is a really solid Pokemon. And then we are going to be terminating our contract with Gallade, who only made one appearance with the team, and died to the Pincurchin that swept my Week 1 team. I raved about Gallade in the past, and this cutting is not any indication of his talents. It's just, what do I need on my team? I didn't need another fairy weak physical attacker. That was just something that he was, the fourth one that I used, a fairy weak physical attacker. I didn't need four of them. He was buried in my bench. I'm going to take Obstagoon before I take Gallade every single time. Unless there's a glaring matchup weakness. Just because I think Obstagoon's better than Gallade. So it's not indicative of his placement and how good Gallade is. It's just a matchup thing where I didn't need it. So we'll be saying goodbye to him and be replacing him with something we desperately need, the Sheep. Now, Dubwool is, in my opinion, one of the best physical walls in the game, if not the. Access to Cotton Guard with good base defense, base 100, and Fluffy. So Fluffy reduces all physical moves, the damage from all physical moves by half, but it adds a super effectiveness to fire. Now, I looked ahead in my schedule, and we don't seem to have a lot of fire types coming up, a lot of threatening fire types. So going forward, I think Dubwool is going to be very vital as a pivot. The best defense boosting move in the game, with access to a move that works off its defense in Body Press. Also gets access to Thunder Wave, Swords Dance, Baton Pass. So this thing can definitely do some damage. I have some fun stuff in mind for Dubwool in the future. But now, please welcome the Sheep. He's going to be a bad matchup nightmare for my opponents. So keep that in mind going forward, and you will hear more from me in the near future. This is... sorry. That was just the transactions. I didn't want to sign off yet. We need to go through my team. So my team this week was very standard. I had a really good matchup against the Pennsylvania Pawnyards. He had 3 dragons, which my Hatterene and Lapras just mowed through. Quad effective freeze dry on 4 Pokemon. 4 Pokemon! I just had to bring it and had to make sure it was protected. So only switched it in on physical attacks I knew it could take. With leftovers protect, I knew exactly what it could take because I've played with Lapras quite a bit. You saw in the match I used protect a couple times. I made it physically defensive here, so it could withstand things. Gave it a little bit of modest for just a little bit of special attack kick to make sure things always died when they got hit by the freeze dry. Toxic. I brought Toxic just in case I got into a Star War with Appleton. Thick Fat Appleton actually doesn't take a lot of damage. I think it takes 40%. So Toxic was to win the Star War with whatever his name is, Appleton. Because I think I win the Star War with that because I have Toxic, Protect, Freeze Dry. I don't know, but I would have been able to switch. But Toxic was for the Appleton. Didn't bring the Appleton, so I didn't need to worry about it. Obstagoon. This was very similar to the Obstagoon set I used in Game 1, but I ditched Sub for Parting Shot to build momentum if I needed it. The speed stat, 274. I don't forget one on his team that's supposed to outspeed. So the very specific speed stats are the specific speed stats are 4 specific Pokemon where I think I wanted it to match up against I think it would have beat Trevenant. I think that's what I think. I actually think it would have been non-scarfed Dracovish. Is I think what I had it against, but I'm not 100% sure. But it just needed. It was a very specific number to beat a very specific Pokemon. Now you see that again with Specs Noivern, where this is a pretty unique build where choice specs. So I didn't necessarily need to go modest, but you'll notice 152 here. You'll notice 152 here as kind of an odd number. 352 outspeeds the fastest Pokemon on his team, which is Frostlass, which I was kind of expecting him to bring. So this would have outsped it and let me frisk it, so I know if it's Scarfed, if it's Choice Scarfed, I can just get out of there. If it's Focus Sash, I can U-turn, break the Sash, bring in something. And it actually worked out really well, because 104 HP EVs was just enough to survive a Choice Banded Gear Grind from the Klinklang, which the Klinklang I was worried about. My whole kind of strategy revolved around killing the Klinklang, because as you saw, he was going to bring a lot of things that were weak to my Lapras. And the best way, the only thing that really threatened my Lapras was Klinklang. And I gave up my Hatterene for Klinklang, which I think one was a valuable trade for me, because the Klinklang, if you looked at the rest of my team, Klinklang still could have done damage to it. So I gave up Hatterene for Klinklang, which worth it for me because I still get a 4-0. So that's why this set is kind of unique in its build. I really liked it, but yeah, he did his job. He wasn't as flashy. He got the 1 kill off the Klinklang. Probably could have stayed in and Draco'd the... I don't know. He got... The whole turn where I knew he was a banded Flygon. I knew he wasn't going to stay. And if he did, I knew anything could take an Earthquake from that thing. So U-turning was the safest play in my mind. And if I could just sack something. Then we had T-Tar, which was just a bulky T-Tar, which was my rocker. I didn't think I needed it, so I didn't really bring him out into the game. Sandstream didn't matter. I bought him because he's a threat, and I gave him the reason. Okay, so this is a little creative. I had Life Orb Dragonclaw because I was hoping he would. If I got him out there, I was hoping he'd switch into like a Dracovish or a Appleton, because if he switched into Appleton, it's a guaranteed 2-hit KO, and I think if he switches into Dracovish, it's a guaranteed 1-hit KO with Life Orb Dragonclaw. Adamant. So that's why this is a little different. It didn't get the show because he didn't bring Appleton, and I had better answers for his Dracovish. Just something to keep in mind. Didn't get a chance to show it, but I thought it was kind of a little cool tech that unfortunately didn't get a chance to use. Hatterene was my basic Hatterene, minus attack, plus this. I left it here. I left speed kind of alone because I was a little afraid of Gyro Ball for Appleton. I'm really surprised he didn't bring Appleton. Appleton does really well against my team. I guess maybe it doesn't, but Appleton was the thing I was the most scared of because I had multiple answers for Dracovish, I had multiple answers for Flygon, I had multiple answers. I had a game plan built around beating Klinklang, so Appleton was really the only thing that could, if he got a couple lucky stalls, a couple hacks, a Toxic or two, I think I could have been in a lot of trouble. So I bought multiple effects for it, and I knew this game was going to be won on the back of one Pokemon, whether it was Hatterene, T-Tar, Obstagoon, or Lapras. So I brought Healing Wish, and this was kind of a fun tech I thought of. Just, hey, maybe, who knows? He's alive. He's back now. And I knew this was going to be a really good matchup for me for one Pokemon just to kind of clean house. So I let it go with Lapras. So I thought this in case someone got down. The Life Orb recoil from the Tyranitar got it too low, so I could come back in and bring it up. That I knew Hatterene was probably going to have to be a sacrificial lamb. I knew Hatterene was going to attract Klinklang basically every time. And the reason why I knew that is because it lived a choice banded gear grind because of Citrus Berry. So that's why I stayed in on turn 3, I think it was. So that's why I stayed in, because what was it going to do? It was going to get me down low. I was going to take a Mystical Fire. knock it down to half, and then switch into... And then I'd be able to know its damage calcs based on its HP, so I'd know if it could kill me. So I could switch to my Noivern in one some Blitzkrieg. And then dealt it just to Skuntank. It's a shame he hasn't really gotten to do that, because Skuntank's kind of cool. The more I've looked into some sets from him, the more I'm like, wow, this guy's actually kind of interesting. Just, he's fodder. And I hate doing that, because my last couple opponents haven't brought hazards. My last couple opponents have really good ground types that it's like, well, just go. Here's this guy. And Sucker Punch, Poison Jab, and then of course he got into Kling Klang. Then he switched the Kling Klang out into the Noivern, into the Flygon. Well, it's like, well, you could just drop a Draco. That's what I left him to die, because I'm like, he just drops Draco here almost 100% of the time. As I figured he'd drop Outrage or Draco. So it's like I can't switch in my Noivern safely. All right, Skuntank, thanks for your service. So that was kind of that move there. But he's a good Pokemon. I really like him. He's a good boy. He's an explodey, stinky boy, and I respect that. So you get is keep in with me. Keep up to date. We're going to be moving through. We got Week 6 coming up against Kraken Nation, the host of the league, which... Stay tuned. I got some fun stuff. That's good. That's gonna be a fun game. Win, lose. There's gonna be some fireworks. That's gonna be the most explosive game probably in this Cup's history, because it's just gonna be out there. There's gonna be some fun stuff, and I will let you guys have it. And thanks for your time. My name is Monk of the Classic City Crush, and this was my post-game press conference for Week 5.